What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you guys are all doing well, and welcome back to another video. If you're returning here, and if you have watched the last video, part one, welcome back. And if you're new here, welcome. Like and subscribe, share with the folks you know, share with the folks you don't know. I normally say it at the end, but I'll say it at the beginning this time because I feel like it. Anyway, folks, welcome back to part two of our three-part series, and maybe a bonus video, okay, at the end, so be on the lookout for that. And turn all the notification bells on and everything. And here talking about the working holiday visa, and today we're going to get more into the work side of things. So we're gonna get into how to find a job, where to look, the 88 days. I know a lot of people are wondering about the 88 days. Some people get worried about it. The do's and don'ts, which there are really just a couple. We're going to talk about some housing as well. Not a lot of people really do the whole housing thing, but a majority of people do. It really just depends if they have accommodation with work or if they have to find their own. So we'll break it all down and give you a little bit of examples of the 88 days in some of the places that I worked, but we'll get more into my personal experience overall in the next video. But for now, we're going to talk about more of the working side of things, how it all works. And yeah, let's get into it. All right, folks. So we're sitting here in a little park here. Let's give you a little view. I mean, it's not like the biggest because we'll probably go over to the other side eventually, but it's nice and quiet over here. Actually, one of the bus stops is right here, and the train station is just here. I do want to say again that, again, I'm not a visa expert. Of course, this goes without saying, but in the last video, I said it like 10 minutes in. So we're down to 2 minutes this time. No, I'm not a visa expert. Obviously, everyone knows that, or maybe you don't know that. And so refer to the website, which I'll have it right here, and then also down below. So some things change. Sometimes they do little tweaks and stuff. The Australian government puts up little tweaks and whatnot. So if anyone's watching this 5 years down the line and they're like, oh, well, this information's not accurate, check out the website. Don't just solely base it on me. This is just what I know and what I've experienced and what I've done in 2024. Okay, disclaimer out the way. Let's get into it. The 88 days, we're just gonna start off. We're gonna start off hot. What is the 88 days? And do you have to do it? Do you not have to do it? Do you want to do it? And also, again, if you haven't watched the first part, go watch the first part where I just break it all down, some of the basics, the requirements, and this and that. And again, refer to the website for that as well. The 88 days is quite the experience. It's actually pretty cool. The 88 days is specified work, 3 months specified work that you have to complete in order to do your second year visa, if you want to do your second year visa. And if you want to do your third year visa, it's actually 6 months. So I just want to go ahead and clear that up really quick. Well, unless you're from the UK, because the free trade agreement went through like last week on the 1st of July, so 14 days ago. And so yeah, so they don't have to do the free trade, they don't have to do the 88 days. You can work in a cafe, you can work in a you know, coffee shop, you know, housekeeping, hotel, office, if you really are inclined to do that for your working holiday visa. It has to be in a specific postcode or a specific area to qualify. And it has to be in like a certain industry as well, unless it's said otherwise on the website. And so hospitality, for example, so like bar work, housekeeping, slash cleaning, front desk, that kind of thing, that doesn't count everywhere. So if you go to the middle of Melbourne or the middle of Sydney and get like a receptionist gig or front desk, probably not going to count. However, if you go up to the middle of Queensland, which is what I did, and did cleaning, that counts. So it depends on the postcode, so please pay attention to that. There is a little tool on the government website where it shows you all the postcodes, so be careful to that, or be careful to check that, excuse me. And actually a trick, guys, so this is a big thing for backpackers, is the Tropic of Cancer. The Tropic of Cancer is your best friend, and it goes right through almost the middle of, not necessarily exactly through the middle of Australia. It's kind of like the upper quarter of Australia. That line that goes through anything north of that line counts towards the 88 days. Now, I say that with a little asterisk because majority of it's kind of like you flip it, because anything under the Tropic of Cancer, Capricorn. I get it mixed up every time. Everything under the line, the Tropic of Capricorn line, a majority of that does not count towards the 88 days unless you're in like the outback or something. But a majority of that stuff is a lot of cities and stuff like that, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, that kind of thing. And so there's a lot more cities down below. And so unless you're in the outback, majority of the stuff is not going to count unless the specific employer says so. So anything above the Tropic of Capricorn, the majority of it does count unless the specific employer says otherwise. So they basically flip it. So hopefully that all makes sense. I'm going to try and break it down a little bit more right now, actually. So, for example, I worked in a hostel in Melbourne, Summer House Hostel. Shout out to you guys at Summer House. I will do a proper video because I'm going to include that in my like experience video, because there was a lot of experiences in Melbourne and St. Kilda in particular. So I'm just going to do a little shout out, but check out part 3 when it comes out, or if it's already out when you're watching this video, go check it out next. But so I worked as a night receptionist, did the night audit, the man of the night audit. Okay, I love it. And it was quite the experience. And so I stayed at that hostel. That was actually the first place I went to when I arrived in Australia. And at the time, they ended up posting like little flyers and stuff everywhere, which actually goes into where to find a job. But they had a flyer on the door and they said, hey, we need a night audit. So I went to the desk, said, hey, you guys still looking for a night audit? Yeah, great, cool. All right, cool. So I had a little, had like a little impromptu interview, got offered the job. It was pretty cool. So, but unfortunately, since it was in Melbourne, it did not count towards the 88 days, but it was a paid gig and it was actually pretty cool. It was a little bit stressful at times because you're obviously up all night and you got some of the crazies that are up at 3 a.m., but the experience is worth it. Would I ever do it again? I don't know, but it was pretty cool. And so that's how it works sometimes. But I actually went through on Facebook and I ended up finding a gig in Queensland, in the middle of Queensland, and that was counted towards the 88 days. So it depends on the location. That's basically what I'm getting at. It depends on the location. Not every location counts towards the 88 days. A lot of people, what happens is a lot of people come out and say they want to do the first year working holiday visa in Australia, and that's it. They just want to do 1 year, just get the experience, and they just want to go home. They are for sure do not want to do their second year or can't do their second year or whatever. That's not a problem. There is no right or wrong way to do this, folks. So in that case, a lot of people don't do like the 88 days or the farm work, is what they call it. And so in that case, it's really up to you. If you are for sure that you do not want to do your second year visa, then you can work anywhere. You can work anywhere anyway, whether you want to extend or not. Job sites. Let's just start off with that so you have a little bit of an understanding. Seek is one of the popular job sites here in Australia, but it's more of just like the overall jobs. It's kind of like Indeed in Australia. I mean, they do have Indeed in Australia. They use it here too. But I just noticed that Indeed is not that good. I mean, I'm jumping ahead here, but Indeed is not that great, at least my experience in Australia. But again, it's more of an overall job board in Australia. Is not necessarily catered towards backpackers, but they do have some backpacker jobs on Indeed. Just in my experience, they don't have a lot. They don't really have a lot. And so Seek does have actually a fair bit more backpacker friendly jobs, temporary jobs, contract jobs, that kind of thing, along with full-time gigs, part-time gigs, backpacker friendly and not backpacker friendly, as in 88 days friendly or short-term wise. So Seek is another one. I mentioned Facebook a minute ago. Facebook is another one. Facebook groups. You've got to be careful. You've got to be careful. I mean, you got to be careful with everything, but you got to be careful with Facebook groups because anyone can just post bullshit. So, pardon my French, but anyone can just post anything and be like, hey, we got this gig in Adelaide, South Australia. It could be a total scam or a fake. I don't like using the word scam lightly. It could just be fake. It could just be fake. It happens a lot in Facebook groups. Someone can just throw up a job thing and, they know a bunch of backpackers are in these groups, so a bunch of people are gonna, but a majority of the time they're fine. So when it comes to Facebook groups and finding jobs on Facebook groups, you've just got to do the extra research. Not to say that it doesn't happen with any other job site, but Facebook groups, it's just easier to just throw shit up on Facebook groups. So please, please, please pay attention when applying and commenting and stuff like that in Facebook groups. However, that's how I found the job in Emerald, Queensland. So it is real, it works. So don't let that scare you. You just have to do the extra research, hey, what hotel is it? Okay, so I'll give you an example. I found this gig up in Emerald, Queensland, of all places, in the middle of nowhere. And it was actually through my friend Crystal. Shout out Crystal, if you're watching. And so she had posted something on there and was like, hey, we were looking, these new owners took over and we're needing a bunch of staff to run the hotel. It is qualified towards the 88 days, and actually Emerald, the Tropic of Capricorn actually runs through like the little top section of Emerald, so it was close enough to where I counted, which was very nice. And I'm a big hospitality guy, and so it all worked out. And so I asked her, okay, is there cleaners available, cleaning positions available, or all-rounder? I ended up being an all-rounder at that point. And so you just got to ask questions. So I asked questions. Hey, where's the hotel? What's the name of the hotel? Where's the location? What's the ABN? So I could look up the ABN. And Crystal, she's great, love her. And she provided me all the information. I was like, hey, would it be okay if we talked on the phone or chopped it up with one of the managers or the owners or whatever? Hey, yeah, here's the owner's number. And then called the owner, and we had a brief little conversation. Okay, cool. That kind of validates, okay, this is this hotel, this ABN, and this location, and here's the backstory of how we got it and everything else. So we got all the pleasantries, through and everything. Okay, now I know that it's real. So when it comes to Facebook groups, you've got to be extra careful and just don't be afraid to ask a couple more questions, But at the same time, you gotta be quick. That's the other thing with Facebook groups. You have to be quick, because especially in popular places, so Noosa and this could be for 88 days and not 88 days. It could be for whichever one, just any job in general. Anything on Facebook groups, you just have to be quick, especially in popular areas. So Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and then Noosa, Whit Sundays, Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast, Cairns, that whole thing. You have to be quick, because what happens is if it's a very good job opportunity in a really good location, someone can post a job listing on Facebook groups, and 10 minutes later there's 50 comments. So you have to be quick. It's pretty ruthless. So that's another thing to note with Facebook groups. But ladies and gentlemen, that is not my favorite. My absolute favorite, and one that I recommend very, very much, is Backpacker Job Board. I've had the most luck with Backpacker Job Board. Obviously, it's catered towards backpackers. Again, it's not only for the 88 days, it's for people who don't want to do the 88 days, but just need a casual job or a full-time job or whatever. So it's not only for the 88 days, but it is mainly towards backpackers, which I appreciate. I've had a lot of luck with Backpacker Job Board. I use them. I am.
Are you?
I am.
You're making a YouTube video?
I am making a YouTube video.
I knew it because the YouTubers have that on camera.
Yeah.
Is that a GoPro?
It is, yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah, I'm making one for the working holiday visa.
Good job.
You want to say hi?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if they can see you, but oh, I love it. My microphone was on for that. Okay. For anyone who doesn't know, I made a video a few weeks ago and I had a really cool interaction with some folks, and my microphone wasn't on for some reason. I don't know what happened to it, and I was very bummed out. So I know for a fact my microphone was on, so you guys got that. I love it. Backpacker Job Board is absolutely my favorite job board. And it's very user-friendly too. It really breaks it down by location, it breaks it down by area, by state, by the type of job it is. It breaks down, hotels and hostels, bar jobs, casual work, full-time work, jobs in Melbourne, jobs in Sydney, jobs in South Australia, South and West. It really breaks it down by state, by city, by job type, by casual. It really is user-friendly. So I would really highly recommend Backpacker Job Board. And anytime you apply, it says, this posting was put up 2 days ago, they're still hiring, and then anytime that they view your application, the employer views your application, you get an email saying, hey, such and such viewed your application. This isn't an automatic, whatever, but it just lets you know, hey, they viewed your thing. Maybe if it's been a couple more days, then you can call them, hey, now that you know that they viewed your application, hey, you guys still hiring, and whatnot. So Backpacker job board is absolutely my favorite. It's the most user-friendly, and obviously it's catered towards backpackers, so it's very, 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 very easy. So that is my absolute favorite out of all of those job boards. And any of them can work and any of them cannot work. So I just want to go ahead and throw that out there right now. My personal work experience. So I went up to Emerald. So I mean, I already know I talked about Emerald, but I'll get more into depth. So I went up there as a cleaner. And I mean, slash housekeeper. They call it cleaner here. I call it housekeeping, same thing. And so I absolutely love housekeeping. I love it. It's just my thing. I know scrubbing toilets isn't everyone's forte. It's a little bit easier for me because not a lot of people like to do it. So, you know, but for me, I'm not a big fan of bar work. I could do it if I wanted to, but I'd rather not. So, but a lot of people like to do bar work, so it's a little bit more competitive. So, I mean, sometimes you just have to do stuff that you just don't want to do. Especially as a backpacker, it's rough out here. It's rough out here, folks. I made some super cool friends, and it was a nice little hotel in the middle of Emerald, and it's just somewhere that you wouldn't expect. But as a backpacker and you got to make some money and stuff like that, you got to do what you got to do. And I actually ended up doing some breakfast cooking as well. Let's see, I ended up doing some more stuff as well. I didn't do like function room setups, and I didn't work in the bistro or the bar or anything. But I was kind of just more or less almost like an all-rounder in a way. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool because you get some of the experience that you wouldn't expect to get, but then also you're surrounded by backpackers. And that's the other thing as well. You're surrounded by a whole lot of backpackers. Sorry. That's the Trans-WA bus that just left for the afternoon. Ironically enough, I will be on that bus in 8 days. 8 days. I will be on that bus doing a Trans-WA bus review, so be on the lookout for that. Doing all-around work, and I met so many friends there. So many friends. I'm gonna give a few of them some shout outs here. I'm not gonna remember everybody, so if I didn't say your name in here, I apologize. I'll get you in the next video. Shout out to Christian, shout out to Sophia, shout out to Julian, shout out to Mel, shout out to Saoirse, shout out to Neve, okay? We love Neve. Okay, shout out to Dan, shout out to Robin, shout out to Rob, okay? I'm not gonna remember everyone in this exact moment, so I apologize. So if I forgot you, I apologize. Shout out to Lily, gotta get some Melbourne people in here too. This is all in Emerald. Gotta show the love in Melbourne too. Shout out to Lily, we love Lily. Shout out to Georgia, #GA, okay? My man Felix held down the night shift when I left and to go take the opportunity to do the 88 days over in Emerald. So shout out to my man Felix holding it down. My guy Jesse, we love Jesse. Sweet mustache, straight from the Netherlands. I love it, absolutely love it. Obviously, we mentioned Crystal. We love Crystal, and there's so much more, So I apologize if I forgot about you guys, but just I had to shout the love in Melbourne. Everyone at Welcome to Travel too, by the way, but we'll talk about them in the next video. Not sponsored. And another tip for the 88 days. I know I mentioned this before, but what you want to do on your 88 days, if you know that you want to do your second year, is please. That's not a very common mistake, but it's just a mistake that people make because they think they got it right. If you know that you want to do your second year visa, please do not wait. Do not wait until your last 3 months to do it. Why do you say that, Ross? Because getting a job in an area that counts towards the 88 days can be easy, but it can also take a couple weeks. Like, it is not guaranteed that first job you sign or the first job you apply to is going to be the one. There's just no guarantee. There's absolutely positively no guarantee, so you do not want to risk it. Some people come to Australia, they travel for a couple months and then do the 88 days. I mean, you don't have to do it the first day you land, However, if you wait till your final 3 months, you're going to be pressed for work. And another thing too, actually forgot, is every job has their hours set to a specific number that counts towards 7 days. Okay, that is very confusing. So let's break that down. Number one, there's an app called the 88th Day, I think it's called. I'll put a little picture and stuff up here. And that is like an 88 days counter, so that anytime you input your hours for the week, we also get paid weekly and it goes by week here in Australia, then you can input it and it counts up your days. Let me explain. For example, if you do a full-time week to a hour amount that the employer itself sets, then you will be counted for 7 days, even if you don't work 7 days. However, if you work under that limit, then you will only be counted for the days you worked, but not the full 7 days. And 2 of those days are including rest days if you do the full 7 days. Let me give you an example because I know it's confusing. Up in Emerald, Queensland, the full 7 day mark, or the hour mark that they set, was 38.5 hours. And sometimes it could be a state thing, sometimes it could be an employer thing, but majority of the time it's an employer thing. But again, check the websites. It's not the same for every single place. But it was 38.5 hours. So, for example, if you work 5 days and work 40 hours, then you will get counted for 2 rest days because you hit that mark or above of the qualified hours that they set. So you'll be counted for the 7 days, even though you did not work 7 days. However, if you work 35 hours and you work 5 days, then in that week, then you're only going to get counted for 5 days because you didn't hit that mark. So you could work 5 days, but if you work 35 hours in those 5 days, you're only going to get counted for the days you worked because you didn't hit that mark. If you get over that mark, say you work 40, 41, 42 hours, anywhere above that line, if you work above that mark and you still work 5 days, that is considered a full-time week, so you get counted for 2 rest days. So you basically get 2 free days. If you work the necessary amount of hours, you get 2 free days. Like, no brainer, you know? So, and if you work 7 days, then you work 7 days. I mean, it's crazy. I think it's actually an Australian thing that's not allowed actually, but you know, whatever. Anyway, folks, do not wait till the very last minute to do your 88 days, because if you get to a point where you wait for the last 90 days, or 90 days, and you go and it's a slow week at work where they don't need you and you don't get that full, 38.5 hours or whatever hour they set, you're screwed. 1 day or 1 week or whatever can mess it all up. And then you're fucked. Like, it doesn't matter if you work 100 hours in 1 week. It doesn't count and it doesn't matter. So please do not wait. Give yourself enough time, and then you just get it over with. You just get it over with, and then you can enjoy the rest of your time in Australia or New Zealand or wherever, and it's not a worry. So that's why you just get out the way, and then you're fine. Farm work, folks. Farm work. Mango picking, banana picking, strawberries, pears, apples. There's all kinds of farms, and they can be fruit farms, avocados. They can be animal, like pig farms. I worked on a pig farm for a few weeks. There are all kind of farms, and so as I mentioned earlier, the 80th day app does have actually like a map built into the app, and it shows you what farms are qualified for the 88 days and where they're located. Does that guarantee they're hiring? No, but it just shows you where they are. So have a look at that, folks. My experience doing 88 days, not in hospitality, because that was a lot easier than farm work. I actually came down to a place called Narrikup. I don't know why I did a hard P there, but Narrikup, Western Australia. And I worked on a pig farm for about 3 weeks, because I actually did need to finish my 3 weeks of my 88 days. I miscalculated some stuff, and so I needed to do 3 more weeks. I don't know how I got thrown off for 3 weeks, but I had to do it. So, and I wasn't gonna go way back out to the middle of Queensland for 3 weeks, because it just wasn't worth it. And so I wanted to see a new place anyway. So I'm like, I might as well just finish it in a new place where I'm gonna be for a long time anyway. And so I worked on a pig farm for 3 weeks. I knew working on a farm wasn't necessarily what I wanted to do. So I just did the 3 weeks and I got out of there. But farm work varies from person to person, place to place. Some people like it, some people hate it, some people are just like, whatever. I'm one of those people who are just like right in the middle. Probably won't do it again, but it was cool for the experience. Everything from building huts to scraping out pig troughs and hoping not to get electrocuted from the electric fence, or eaten by the pigs. Some of them were eating my boot. It was kind of funny. But I did some rolling. Like I was like on some massive field in a big tractor. I was rolling across some fields back and forth for like 4 days. It was pretty cool. It was actually kind of relaxing. You just pop in a podcast and you go. So it was pretty relatively easy work. I've never worked on a farm before, which is crazy because I'm from Nebraska. Like you would think. But no, I didn't. I'm from an agricultural place, but I've never properly been like on a field. Housing is hit or miss. Housing's hit or miss, and it really just depends on what kind of work you want to do, how long you want to stay in one place. There's a few factors. Example, when I was in Melbourne, thankfully I ended up working at the hostel, and so housing was included in there. I mean, I still had to pay them, but they took it out of my check, but I had a place to be. So I didn't have to look for anywhere externally. But some people do like to look for places externally anyway, just to like they, you know, some people just don't want to stay in the hostels for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Like, you know, hell, some people don't want to stay in hostels for 2 weeks. Like, like they don't want to do that. And honestly, I can't blame them. You know, I honestly don't mind being in a hostel forever, but some people don't want to do that forever. So, and it's totally fair. There's nothing wrong with it. And so some people will look for a shared room or a whole apartment or whatever they want to do. And so the way to find that externally, number one, again, Facebook groups. Well, the big one is Fairy Floss. I know the name is funny, but this is actually recommended from the wonderful folks at Welcome to Travel. Again, not sponsored. Got to fit that in there. Fairy Floss Real Estate, the Facebook group is a very, very popular one, so you got to be quick with that one. I don't know any others. I apologize on Facebook. But another site is Flatmates. Flatmates is a big one. It's actually an app as well, also a website. And that was a little more like superficial, but that is how you can search for different, you can either search for like your own private room, you can search for like a shared room, you can search for your whole apartment or however you want to do it. Some people use Airbnb as well, but Airbnb can be really expensive. And so now I did find something on, I think it was either on Facebook or Flatmates. I don't remember which one it was, but it was on one of those two sites, so I know it's real. And a lot of backpackers use it, so you'll be fine. But the place that I looked at, it was actually my own it was in like a huge like shared house. It was kind of weird. I put a video up actually. I think I still have that video, so I'll put it up. But it was like my own room within like a really big like shared house. Like my own little studio room. I had my own bed, a little desk, my own bathroom, and a little like mini kitchenette section area. And that was $350 a week, Australian. 350 Australian a week, which is like 200 US or something like that. I'll put the conversions up like I normally do. That actually was not bad. For your own space, you don't have to share a room with anyone, and you get your own access and stuff like that. That's pretty good. I would recommend, and everyone's budgets are different and stuff like that, but I would recommend that $350 is the max per week. $350 per week is the max that you pay, and I'm talking about if you're balling. I mean, if you want to do $450, whatever, you can do whatever you want, Australian dollars. By all means, go ahead. But I would say, as a backpacker, I would say the absolute max that would be worth it, and to save some money still, is $350 a week. And if it's not your own place, it better be like a real nice area. You know, and again, like some places, the prices are different. Like again, Sydney is just expensive, so sometimes there just isn't like really a big way around it. But the place I looked at, that was in Footscray. That was in Footscray, over in Melbourne. I think it's on the western part of Melbourne, if I'm not mistaken. So, and that place was $350 a week, and it was my own place, no shared nothing. So that was pretty cool, folks. So it does work. It's a real thing, and so go ahead and check that out. And that's what backpacking is all about. That's what backpacking is all about, ladies and gentlemen. So my experience doing the 88 days, both in hospitality and farm work, pretty okay. So anyway, now we get to the end of the video, folks. So I appreciate you guys for watching all the way through. This is a longer video, so I apologize here, but I wanted to be sure I got in everything for you guys. So if you have any questions at all, any advice, anything, and everyone else who has done the 88 days and is watching this video, or has experience doing the work and holiday visa and is just watching this video for accurate and somewhat good information, then also put your comments down below, whether you've done the 88 days, whether you haven't done the 88 days, whether you've done the work and holiday visa, whether you have not done the work and holiday visa, whether you have questions, whether you don't have questions, whether you're just watching casually, okay? Number one, like and subscribe, share it with the folks you know, share it with the folks you don't know. Then go down to the comment section and put your thoughts in. Put your questions in. For all of the experienced travelers out there, or people who have done it before, also put your recommendations and your thoughts and stuff down below. It could help people out. It could help people out who are watching this video months and years down the line. And so, I mean, as long as the video stays up, it's still going to be here. So anyone who's watching in the future, it could help out future travelers. And anyone who does have questions currently, put them down below, and I will answer them as best as I can. Again, everything will be down in the description box, along with the government websites, because again, things change. And so, you know, if something is accurate today, but it's inaccurate 2 years from now, you have the government website to rely on. Don't just take it from me, please. I am not held myself responsible for that. So I'm throwing it out there. Next week, will be the final part, technically. And so make sure you watch that video. We're going to be talking about our overall experience just in Australia, not just about the work, not just about the visa, but just overall experience and excursions and people that I've met and places that I've been and friends coming out to see me and this and that. So also in the comment section, it is technically today, but still yesterday for her, my friend JC, who came out and visited me all the way from the US, all the way from North freaking Dakota, actually. She came to visit me in Australia a few months ago, about a couple months ago, and so it's her birthday today. And so everyone down below, say happy birthday, JC. Thank you very much, I appreciate that. And yeah, so check out the next video when it comes out. Stay tuned, like and subscribe, share it with the folks you know, share it with the folks you don't know. Be kind to each other, love one another, please. It's a crazy world we're living in at the moment. Some crazy shit going on. So be kind to each other, love one another. I will see you guys in the next video, in the official final part, because I think we're going to do a bonus video from actually one of the comments that I got on my first part, so I appreciate that. And I will see you guys in the next video. See you later. All right, cool. Sorry if I turn around sometimes. I see I have these little bushes behind me, and so sometimes people are walking behind me and they sound really close. So yeah, get to go to some pretty cool places and experience some stuff. And I'll break it down again in a minute after this car passes by. Thank you. So the 88 days is something, okay, so actually, I actually made a mistake in the last video, which I wasn't gonna put in here, but anyway, folks, what was I talking about? I was on a roll, man. I said I was gonna go walking over there, and I sat here the whole time. Pretty cool, actually. I'm actually gonna run to the store now and grab a couple of things and make some dinner. I just wanna start the video over at this point. Hey, being distracted. Right, first year. This pier has like a temporary residence. There's some dogs fighting anyway. We'll get up and start walking around in a second, folks. I really do not want to record this video all over again. I really don't want to record this video all over again. No, we'll keep going, we'll keep going. Bro. Thanks. I love the buddies, but not when I'm recording. That's all right, let's pause. It was worth it, you know, like I'm in Australia. Sorry folks, hold on. Waiting for that car to pass by, there we go. You really do it however you want, and the car just conveniently stopped behind me, you love that? And I lost my train of thought. Anyway, let's just break it down. Let's break it down. I was a little bird. I was gonna show you guys, and it flew away.